Welcome to Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's talk show. Now here's your host, Wilmot Mutty Perkins.
Morning, everybody. Morning, and welcome once again to Perkins Online. Today is America's, what do they call it? It's their Independence Day, I believe. 4th of July. It is also the birthday of Norman Washington Manley. I don't know whether he could be properly described as the founder of the People's National Party. He was its founding president. The idea of starting a People's National Party was not his, and he initially had no interest in it. What happened was that the people who thought that the country needed such a movement, notably O.T. Fairclough, W. Adolph Roberts, the Hill brothers, Frank and Ken, Arthur Henry, Richard Hart, I think Noel Nethersole was in among them somewhere. I am not sure at what stage Vernon Arnett got into it, but a number of other persons like that. They got together. They wanted to found a political party, and they wanted a name as its leader. And they focused upon two persons, Norman Manley and J.A.G. Smith, both noted attorneys, barristers at law, and famous in Jamaica in those days. And they worked, I think their preference was for Norman Manley. But he refused it. Jag Smith, similarly, they worked on him. He refused it. And they kept going between them both until it was, as I understand it, Edna Manley who persuaded her husband to take up the job. And he did. And so when the party was founded, he was its president. Bustamante and he were cousins. And I remember Buster telling me one day, my cousin Norman, brilliant barrister, not a politician, but a brilliant barrister. And I'm not sure that he was wrong. Norman Manley, for one thing, did not believe in universal adult suffrage. When he went before the, what's the name of that commission? The Boyne Commission. He objected, he opposed the idea of universal adult suffrage. But the commission thought that that was what was needed, and so we had it. Anyway, today is his birthday, and one had expected that the People's National Party, well, there was a rumor going around that the People's National Party was going to be having a big meeting tonight, and that the date of the election would be announced. But we hear that nothing of the sort is happening. We're still hearing rumors that that Parliament is to be dissolved next week, Tuesday. Is that so? I don't know. But one does get the impression of a reluctance to go forward to the election. I think the People's National Party is in a bit of a panic. And the panic is leading to panic. I don't think they're very anxious to fly the gate. At any rate, not the Portia side. I suspect that there are elements there who wouldn't be unhappy if she went to the election and got a bit of a thrashing. But parties divided, as never before in its history. That seems to be what is happening. And there is a sense, I suppose, that given the state of the country, that there might be a lot of opposition to the party. And Sister P, we were told, was its only hope of a fifth term. Not the best hope, its only hope of a fifth term. So Mr. Patterson told us. Meaning that the party couldn't go forward, after being in office for 18 years, couldn't go forward campaigning for a fifth term on its performance over those 18 years. It had to go on the basis of Sister P's charisma. No, charisma seems to be an unpopular word at the moment. Since Mr. Golding spoke in Mandeville the other night and pointed out that the most charismatic of political leaders, possibly in history, was a man named Adolf Hitler, who won an election largely on the basis of his charisma, and then took the opportunity to abolish democracy in Germany and replace it with a fascist regime. A fascist regime that led ultimately to a great disaster for that country and for the world, The author he was of the Second World War. A devastating experience. And a lot of atrocities committed by him and his regime in that period of time. So nobody is talking about charisma these days. I heard somebody I can't remember who it was, some supporter or member of the party, taking issue with Mr. Golding for raising the issue of charisma. So apparently charisma has become very, very, very unpopular an idea. There's a report in the Business Gleaner this morning. It's front page story about the business confidence, business and consumer confidence. And it quotes Professor Professor Richard Curtin of the University of, yes, here it is, Professor Richard Curtin of the head of the Survey Research Center, University of Michigan in the United States. He's head of the Survey Research Center, University of Michigan. And the story tells us that business and consumer confidence slipped in the second quarter of the year. But both remained at their record levels. They slipped in the second quarter of the year, but both remained at near record levels. Consumers remained buoyant about their job prospects, while the business community continues to have a favorable view of the economy. One wouldn't believe it from listening to some of the things that have been said by some business leaders recently. But anyhow, the business continues to have a favorable view of the economy. The latest confidence surveys show. And then here is a quotation. Consumers expected the current economic expansion to remain strong. Consumers expected the present economic expansion to remain strong in the year, and as a result produce more new jobs and income grants. The Professor Richard Curtin of the University of Michigan, who analyzes the quarterly surveys. And he goes on to say the Jamaican business sector remained very optimistic about their financial prospects during the year. We take a break. We'll come back in a moment.
Workers in the light and power industry, the JPS Employees Co-op Credit Union is you and your family's best bet for attractive loans and investment options. The time by the JPS Employees Co-op Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is 10:16. The following is a paid announcement by G2K.
Jamaica need a change now.
The old boss of the People's National Party, not changing no course.
Jamaica need a change now.
Not changing no course.
I know the things bad, but I'm frightened when me hear PNP Minister Roger Clark say,
Lord, me never know say after the place did mash up. Not changing no course.
Jamaica mash up for true. 18 years of PNP, no money now run for it. You know, here, Portia.
Our economy has not grown sufficiently.
see the poor people are suffer, and PNP Minister Bobby Pickersgill say,
30 million. It is really chicken feed.
Chicken feed out order. And a Maxine wanna sleep in a parliament. It's like the whole of PNP asleep.
Not changing no course.
Well, Portia, We have to change it.
Jamaica need a change now.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by G2K.
Smells great, tastes better. Your favorite Dr. Luscious and Tasty Baked products. Delve into our delicious Dr. Luscious cheese bread, pineapple cake and raisin cake, and our tasty Tasty orange, coconut and cherry cakes. Available at all major supermarkets and stores island-wide. Fresh, savory and mouth-watering baked brands. Dr. Luscious and Tasty line of products. Baked and distributed by Breads and More Limited. 27 East Street, Old Harbor. Telephone 983-0644. Dr. Luscious and Tasty Baked products. Just what the doctor ordered.
Attention all police officers who are registered to vote. Friday, July 6, 2007 is your last chance to get on the police voters list. The EOJ has already conducted an island-wide enumeration drive at all police stations and will not be carrying out this exercise again. This is the final appeal for you to get registered for the police voters list. Remember, to be able to vote on the day designated for police and military, you need to be on the police voters list. Please visit any EOJ constituency office and let us know where you are now stationed, and take your voter ID cards with you. July 6th is the final day to get registered on the police voters list, and the EOJ needs to get your ballot to you.
You're listening to Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's Talk Show. Our phone numbers are 968-4901, 968-4902, 968-4903. Our local toll-free line is 1-888-991-4072. Or you may call our international toll-free line at 1-866-LINK-106. That's 1-866-5465-106. Courtesy of the People's Telecom of Jamaica Limited. Call the U.S., Canada, and UK landlines and talk all you want for only $750 plus tax a month, only $25 a day with Freedom Wireless, the new mobile calling service from People's Telecom. You may also log on and listen to Perkins Online live on the World Wide Web free at www.go-jamaica.com. Now back to Perkins Online on Power 106 FM.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back online. Let me just repeat that quotation from Professor Richard Curtin, the author of this survey. And Professor Richard Curtin is head of the Professor Richard Curtin, head of the Survey Research Center, University of Michigan. Now, the Gleaner quotes him as saying that consumers expected the current economic expansion to remain strong in the year, and as a result produce more jobs, more new jobs, and income gains, said Professor Richard Curtin of the University of Michigan, who analyzes the quarterly surveys. The Jamaican, again quoting him, the Jamaican business sector remained very optimistic about their financial prospects during the year ahead. Companies, the professor said, were experiencing a boost in economic activity post-election. Were expecting companies, the professor said, were expecting a boost in economic activity post-election based on expectations of potential policy shifts. I don't know what. And this is a quotation. They expect the environment to be very supportive of economic growth, the professor said. And then a little later on, it quotes, the results were presented Tuesday at the media briefing at the Terra Nova Hotel in St. Andrew. Now, isn't it very interesting how things are looking up, eh? Things are looking wonderful according to this, very promising according to this survey. And we heard from another earlier on this week that Jamaica had boosted its position among countries in terms of being a failed state. It has improved considerably, gone up the, in terms of being a failed state. So the prospects are good. Listening yesterday evening, to the Nationwide program, I heard a very interesting interview. I thought that Professor Richard Curtin and some team of his had done this survey, and that's the impression that we've been getting all along. Not true. Professor Richard Curtin is, as I understand it, merely reading from a Don Anderson survey. Don Anderson was on the program yesterday, last evening, and he was confirming the information that Cliff Hughes seemed to have had, that the survey was not done by Curtin. Don Anderson said that he had done the survey, the people going out and asking the questions and so on were his team, and he had collated all the data and just written it up and sent it off to Richard Curtin. And Richard Curtin was literally just drawing information, drawing conclusions based upon the material that Don Anderson had provided. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I wonder who is doing the failed state survey in Jamaica. I wonder who is doing the failed state survey. And what it is that has happened in Jamaica over the last year that creates the impression that Jamaica is today less of a failed state than it was in 2005 or 6, whenever it was, 2005. Right? I can't imagine what that is. There is no better public order, no better anything, so far as I can see, that would contribute to such a view. And then, of course, there is the Planning Institute of Jamaica and Statin. Well, leave Statin out of it. No, they're telling us that that unemployment, oh Lord, unemployment is the lowest it has ever been in Jamaica certainly in the last 18, well, I would go back further than that. I would go back to the 1970s. Right? But, you know, as I always say, if you're sitting in the garden, you're wearing thermal underwear, a jacket, you know, in addition to jacket over your shirt, and a heavy overcoat, gloves, and you're shivering. There's a glass beside you with some water in it, and the water is frozen. And somebody comes and tells you that the temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Would you believe him? Very interesting. Okay, shall we take the break?
Ideal Portfolio Services Company Limited, creating wealth for our clients every single day. For expert stock portfolio management, foreign currency investments, and competitive returns, call Ideal Portfolio Services Company Limited, 960-639-024. The time by Ideal Portfolio Services Company Limited, 17 Ripon Road, Kingston 5 is
10:30.
Today's weather brief is brought to you by Meloy's Distributors Limited and Lloyd's Sales Hardware, 98 Red Hills Road, Kingston 19. Now open, 145 Constant Spring Road, Kingston 8. Before you buy, compare our prices, because nobody beats us. Nobody. Meloy's Distributors Limited and Lloyd's Sales Hardware, 98 Red Hills Road and 145 Constant Spring Road. Massive sale on steel, lumber, 5/8 ply, cement and more. Take our competitors' quotations to us and we'll beat the prices, because nobody beats us. Nobody. Telephone 969-3382. That's 969-3382.
Now for today's weather brief. There is a high-pressure ridge across the Central Caribbean. Today, look for mainly sunny and windy conditions. In our 3-day outlook, Thursday will be mainly sunny and windy. Friday will also be windy with afternoon showers. Saturday, look for partly cloudy conditions with winds and thunderstorms during the afternoon. The information for today's weather brief was supplied by the National Meteorological Service of Jamaica.
Today's weather brief was brought to you by Meloy's Distributors Limited and Lloyd's Sales Hardware, 98 Red Hills Road, Kingston 19. Now open, 145 Constant Spring Road, Kingston 8. Before you buy, compare our prices, because nobody beats us. Nobody.
Hey, Red, rodeos are coming. Rodeo. The premium energy drink. Distributed by Brosco Distributors Limited, 17.5 Q Road. Telephone 908-1211.
Welcome, Rodeo Energy Drink. Available island-wide.
Video Spec Electronics Limited, the expert in repairs and sales of car stereos, mini component sets, television, CD players, car alarms, and amplifiers at unassailable prices. Video Spec Electronics Limited, shop number 7, 1 Malines Road, Kingston 10, telephone 968-9157.
You're listening to Perkins Online, the Thinking Person's Talk Show. Our phone numbers are 968-4901, 968-4902, 968-4903. Our local toll-free line is 1-888-991-4072. Or you may call our international toll-free line at 1-866-LINK-106. That's 1-866-5465-106. Courtesy of the People's Telecom of Jamaica Limited. Call the U.S., Canada, and UK landlines and talk all you want for only $750 plus tax a month, only $25 a day with Freedom Wireless, the new mobile calling service from People's Telecom. You may also log on and listen to Perkins Online live on the World Wide Web free at www.go-jamaica.com. Now back to Perkins Online on Power 106 FM.
Okay, thank you very much. We're back here online. You know, I heard my colleague as far as radio broadcasting is concerned, Deacon Thwaites, saying on his program this morning that the law is not a shackle, is not a full quotation. Now, having sort of quoted that over and over myself, and, you know, hearing a lot of people saying that this a misquotation, is it being taken out of context and whatever, I would like Mr. Thwaites to tell us what is insufficient about that quotation. How much more of what Mr. Patterson says, if one quoted all that he said in that speech, before and after that particular statement, would it in any way affect the meaning of that statement? And if Mr. Thwaites believed that the answer to that is yes, then I would like to ask him to tell us what it is, the leaving out of which has led to a misrepresentation of what Mr. Patterson said. Right? And if he cannot tell us what that is, then obviously he's talking nonsense. Right? Mr. Patterson said the law is not a shackle, but a tool of social engineering. Right? Law is not a shackle, but a tool of social engineering. Now, does that affect the meaning of it? In my view, it makes it even more sinister. Because to say that the law is not a shackle is to say that one need not be constrained by the law. But then to go on and say that the law, and as a Prime Minister, to say that the law is a tool of social engineering seems to me to imply that, quite apart from not imposing any restraint upon him, the law provides him with an opportunity to use the people of this country as if they were mere raw material to be shaped by him into whatever his mind decided upon. Right? But I would like Mr. Thwaites, I've heard this criticism over and over, that the law is not a shackle, is an inadequate representation of what Mr. Patterson said. Please, Mr. Thwaites, tell us what else did Mr. Patterson say in that context which would have altered the meaning of those words as I have represented them? Okay? All right, let's go to the phones. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, morning.
Well, good morning, Mr. Price. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I just have a few comments. I'm a little bit concerned.
Oh, I see. You said Thwaites? I'm not Mr. Thwaites, you know.
Oh, Perkins, I'm sorry.
And you should apologize to Mr. Thwaites for that.
I should. I guess I was listening to you. I'm a little bit concerned about some of the economic policies that seem to be getting real popular, particularly the paymaster business.
The what?
I mean, the paymaster collection business.
Uh-huh.
This just really seems to me to be another tax on the Jamaican people.
To be a what?
How can you a tax?
Uh-huh.
I'm not
Oh, you mean that business of requiring people to pay a charge in order to pay a bill?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
That seems to me to be just a ridiculous business model.
Yes,
totally ridiculous.
No, well, I tell you something. It works only because people are prepared to knuckle under, right? And to take whatever is dashed into their faces. If people said, I am here, I'm prepared to pay the money, right? I owe you money. Fine, I'm prepared to pay the money, but I'm not paying anything in order to pay it, right?
Uh-huh.
And if paymaster insists, well, I don't know. I wouldn't pay money on that basis, right?
I wouldn't either. Are the Jamaican people
yes, the Jamaica Public Service Company cannot impose, as in law, as I understand the law, cannot impose a cost upon us for making a payment to them, right? If any such cost is to occur, then they must pay it, not me. I owe them $10. That is what I'm going to pay them. They can't require me to pay $2 in order to pay them $10. Right?
Yes. Yes. And another point, I called the NCB Bank this morning, and they seem to be making a net profit on foreign exchange transactions of $2.14 to buy and sell, let's say, United States dollars.
$2.14 US.
And 14 cents.
US.
5,000 US. Well, that must be Jamaican. It has to be Jamaican.
No, man. I doubt that. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is Jamaican.
Maybe it's Jamaican. In other words, if you're buying and selling less than $5,000,
uh-huh.
You know, they're making $2.14 profit each transaction.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that to me seems to be a really wide spread for doing basically nothing.
Well, I don't know. I don't get the impression that is all that they're making on it. I suspect we're talking here about US dollars.
Well, I hope it's Jamaican dollars. I mean, I didn't ask the lady if it was Jamaican or US. I just assumed it was Jamaican dollars she was saying.
Oh, well, I don't know. Ask her again.
Again. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong.
Uh-huh.
All right, so nice talk with you today, huh?
Okay. All the best to you. Okay. There's another little item in the papers here. Which quotes Mr. Paulwell. It's in the Observer this morning. New government procurement policy to favor small firms, says Paulwell. New government procurement based upon the size of the business from which don't seem to me to make sense. Whatever that the public gets the best bang for its dollar, no? Or the best bang for its buck. Hello? Hello?
Morning.
Hi, how you doing?
How's everything, my brother?
Not too bad, how are you?
I have a serious charge against you, man.
What charge is that?
Over the years, we the listeners have been listening to you.
Yes.
And you never tell us that Idi Amin and Hitler were two persons who love to hug and kiss and charisma.
Well, I don't know that Adolf Hitler, you know, that he went quite as far as hugging and kissing.
Yeah. But where it come on to charisma.
Well, he was
one of the best in the world.
Yes. Certainly at the start.
Yes.
And he won an election. You see, a lot of people are of the view that, who are uninformed, believe that that Hitler started imposing imposing with what Mr. As what's it called? Anyway, tyrannical measures upon the German people, you see? Right from the... No, he's upon his charisma, I suppose.
And Jews at one time lost their lives.
I think that, well...
you know, why not? Is that you have some people you call political analysts, who try to give one the belief that the person who seems to have the most likely would be a better choice for us.
Well, I get the impression that the word charisma has become very unpopular since Sunday night. I heard,
Yeah, I hear you.
Hold on just a moment for me.
National Supply.